Good morning, and welcome to Just Magic the Gathering. After reviewing my videos from yesterday, I'm much happier with how the sound balance has come. And one of the things that I mentioned in my last video was I wasn't really fully aware of the difference between the Avatar set and the Avatar Extras set, and I, in a way, just wanted to cover a little bit of that. Quick Google search led me to some incorrect information. Basically, it's saying that anything that's from the extras set is not standard legal, and that's the main distinction. There's even an article or a couple of Reddit articles on it. But with that being said, when I go and look at the extra set, it's all over the board. The extra set is mostly reprints that came from Time. Uh, so they're not normally legal, is what it comes down to. Why is it showing? Either way, the ones with the little glider tend to not be legal. And that's where I've seen some of these and Lightning Bolt's a good example. Lightning Bolt, 3 damage for 1 red mana, is a great direct damage card to any target for 1 mana. And with things like Storm, I mean, it can get crazy fast. So historically, it's kind of come and gone from being banned. It doesn't. There are cards it plays exceedingly well to make a broken build, and it's almost Magic's job to try and make sure there isn't a bunch of broken builds. So Lightning Bolt is actually banned in the historic format, even though this card is currently legal in Alchemy and Standard. That's kind of what I meant about this being all over the board, because some of these are only, like this one's historic legal, everything legal, even though it's from the Avatar set, or the extra set. And most of them you can almost just look at and say, like, that's too overpowered and it's going to be illegal. As a good example, this one, creatures you control. Whenever the creature becomes tapped for the first time, each turn you can put a +1/+1 counter on it. For 3, I can start dropping +1/+1 counters, and that's ridiculously broken. At least, especially with like my landfall deck. But it's not currently standard or alchemy legal. And that's where most of the cards fall from, or it's all over the place. These are reprints of other cards, and therefore their legality is based on that. And even like the hook swords, not currently standard or alchemy format legal. And it basically just came to my attention when I was playing the game yesterday that I am getting a bunch of cards that aren't standard or alchemy legal. Unlike when I did the Final Fantasy jump-ins, all the cards I was getting from that set were current legal, and that kind of puts me in a bind. I tend to try and min-max the game and get the most value for my time. So the value that the jump-ins have isn't actually as high as I was thinking it was. I'm still getting nice cards, it's still fun. I mean, that's the main thing. You need to be enjoying the game, or the point is to have fun. But the jump-ins don't have as much value. I was trying to think about where to go from there. The value in a lot of ways comes from the other formats. So alchemy is like what is currently legal, is a pretty short set, and there's unique digital-only cards that qualify for it. Standard is what you can basically go to the shop and play because it doesn't allow the digital cards, and it is the most common form of competitive play to my understanding. Historic play, you can basically play anything that's historic. Timeless is the true one where you can play anything. But they all have different legality rules, and that's where some of the cards I'm getting only fall into like Historic, Pioneer, or Timeless. The main thing most people actually do play in stores, to my understanding, is actually Brawl, which is a totally different game. You have twice the life, the games are slower, you have a 100-card deck. Brawl can be fun. I have absolutely enjoyed some Brawl games, especially in more of a group setting. That's where my oldest brother really will talk up Magic and the social aspect of Magic, and that even if somebody does bring a broken deck, normally people team up and get them out of there because at that point it's a 3-on-1, or there's a dynamic when there's more than two players. And Arena, I don't think is ever going to support something like that. To my understanding, they are on a broken budget or a reduced budget. The number of developers actually working on supporting this game is very, very few, and mostly it's the content artists and things like that. I have traditionally been a software engineer, so I can speak to some of the technicalities of programming. But that is not the point of this channel. With less value in the jump-ins, the best way to grind tokens is through just opening packs and working your rings. If I get 6 more packs, I'm going to earn another mythic wild card. The wild cards have the most value as far as I'm concerned, and if you go to buy them directly, they are expensive. So, just as an example, one of the things I don't really like about Magic is it is a pay-to-win game. It coined pay-to-win before pay-to-win even existed. If you have a $200 deck and I have a $5 deck, it doesn't even really make sense to play. I can tell you what the outcome of that game's gonna be. And that imbalance can be very frustrating. The point where I think Magic really shines is when you have two decks that are fairly equally balanced, that have interesting mechanics, and it's almost a coin flip for who's gonna win. I was thinking about telling a story about teaching one of my college roommates about Magic and kind of struggling with like, wait, I don't have any good Magic cards, or I don't have a good way to showcase and train or show what Magic's about, because at that point I only kept my high value cards, or it's a longer story than I want to get into right now. So, sorry for the side rail there. I did just basically log in for the day. I am up a little earlier than normal. But with that being said, I'm going to see if I can get a better one. I'm now stuck to green spells, red or green, and finish my red. And the jump-ins still get me the cards that are historically of value and that allow me to build out other things. In most cases, Magic is about collecting the cards so you can have them for later use if you want them. I will look to build out a better Brawl deck. I will look to build out an Angel deck. I will look to build out some things. And the way that they keep rotating new cards in and old cards out means that it is almost like a perpetual sink of money, or in this case, time. Because if you dedicate time as a free-to-play player, you can absolutely get whatever cards you want. You just have to grind them over time and earn your tokens. As I mentioned before, I'm kind of token strapped. At this point, I have like 24 commons, 9 uncommons, 4 rares, and 4 mythics. And that's actually a little more than I normally have, but I did just dwindle myself down from picking up some of the avatar stuff. Last time I also mentioned about some of the loops and other cards. The death loop that I was talking about with the Blight Priest and the Conqueror is the Bloodthirsty Conqueror. Whenever an opponent loses life, you gain that much life, and that pairs with the it pairs with all sorts of cards. Whenever a target gains life, when you gain life, opponent loses that much life. So when I gain life, you lose life. When you lose life, I gain life. These two cards make an infinite loop. And then all you have to do is anything with lifelink will trigger it. I don't have the cards or the tokens to burn on this. And that's where it's kind of hard for me to showcase that loop. I am looking to talk my brother into basically joining the channel or creating its own channel, because he does actually invest some into the game every month, and he invests a lot of his time into the game, significantly more than I do. He's a better player and probably just has more engagement and love for the game in general. And that's where he can showcase some of the decks that I can't. One of the things I was also going to mention about the value of decks, this is one of his decks. The munitions deck is back to decks that have fun mechanics. He picked this up from, I think, somebody like Sways, and then tweaked it to his own accord. But like 26 rares and 4 mythics. That's an expensive deck, and that's actually just what I'm missing in order to complete it. So if I go over to the store, you can actually buy the tokens outright. And where do you actually do that? Yeah. So 4 rares is $20, and 4 rares is $10, and 4 mythics is $20. So the 24 that I'm missing would be $60 worth of rares and another $20 worth of mythics. If I just wanted to outright buy the tokens to get that, it's another $80 for me to finish out that deck. And yeah, I don't look to spend that kind of money on Magic basically ever, because it is a perpetual sink. If I spent that on these cards, if I'm actually playing Alchemy or Standard, then in a year or 2 or 3 they aren't going to be the value anymore. Historically they are, but I can't, unlike the real cards, I can't resell them. This is digital only and non-tradable. I do really enjoy the fact that I can earn the tokens for free and exchange them out, because I've just through time and the little bit of investment that I have done, I've gotten a bunch. One of the cards I picked up was Terror from... I thought it was Terror from the Deep, but that's not quite right. And I'm wondering if it actually rolled out. Because this would be my Dragons deck, and I just went to find that card, sorry. I wasn't intending to showcase this, and I'm just not seeing the card I wanted. There's probably an easier way for me to get there. Terror. Terror from the Peaks. Yeah, it rolled out of Alchemy Legal this last set. This is from the Desert set, and I actually missed my Deserts. This card has almost, I think, $100 and something value. It's not a cheap card. Yet I was able to earn the token for free and get the card for free. And it worked great with my dragon deck. But once again, it rolled out, and now it doesn't have that value to me, and I'm really glad as a real life player that I didn't, spend $100 and something for the card. And yeah. Or even as a digital only player, like, I'm not going to spend money on tokens for things, especially if I can't use them in the long run. I will look to do something like Brawl where that is legal, but yeah, there's a lot of different ways to play and enjoy Magic. But I just kind of wanted to cover part of my review of the extras and the additional value, or the almost lack of additional value that you get from doing those jump-ins. Because a lot of these cards, sorry, unlike the Final Fantasy set, which all the cards are legal, the Avatar set, a lot of them aren't. So, at this point, that is basically all I wanted to cover, was kind of the difference between those two. And with that being said, have a good morning.